Well, hello everyone. So welcome back to part 2 of this creation of this robotic arm rail. And we're going to continue to build this thing out. So here we go. All right, so I got these 3 pieces from earlier. I'm going to bring this out a little bit. And I've got a nice fillet on the other side of these as well. Just so when it cuts into it, it will look nice, not too sharp. And, looking at this, I could have, did a fillet on the rounded sections around these as well in the first place. That might have been easier. Anyway, going forward, we're going to take these 3 pieces and actually cut them away from that main object there. So we're going to use the Q key after we select that first big object and the other 3 pieces. And now that we got these, I'm going to go ahead and select these lines around the whole thing. So let's go ahead and go all the way around. Make sure we get the sharp lines. So what we're trying to do here is just try to make sure everything's rounded throughout this space. So that way it's just easier to do the other parts correctly. Again, you always want to get the sharp edges out of the way first and then go back to the other sections so you can actually make a nice rounded part. Otherwise, it might cut it out and put it as sharp in some areas. So we're going to hit OK once we did that. Okay, now I'm going to select a little section of each of these. Now that everything around this piece is rounded or smooth, it's that much easier. All right, so now I got all these selected. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this out as a fillet. Not too much, just a little bit. Give it a nice little edge. So right there. A good way to test what you did is take off the lines and get a better look at it. But here we go. So let's continue. I'm going to change colors on this now and show the edges and basically take away the lines. And I feel it looks really nice. All right, so I'm going to select this little piece here and hit the Shift D. So I made a copy of it. I'm going to actually hit the G key and pull this out a little bit. And this is going to be like a cutter we're going to use to cut into this other section. So I did another Shift D, so now I got 2 parts. And I'm basically going to take the one piece here, and I'm going to scale it down. So hit the S key. Now, if that doesn't work, you can always select the actual object tool. So I'd actually selected it and actually used the scale tool in the middle there, and then I'm going to pull a bit closer. So now I'm going to actually select the face tool again and select that piece and this piece, and I'm with the L key for loft, or you can use the button. Hit OK. So now I'm going to select this edge here and kind of bring this down a little bit. But first, it's going to select this piece here and get rid of it. So always makes a copy of this. So select that and delete it. Now we can select it and pull it. Do a fillet on this, not too much. And hit OK. All right, cool. And we'll also select this piece here. I can just delete that. Now pick the main section here. And let's go ahead and hit the G key and bring it into the space. So right into that nice disc right there. And let's get a little closer, see what we're doing. Hit OK. Hit that first. Now this one second. And again, we can hit the Q key to delete it. Actually, I did a Shift Q after the Q. So I actually have a part within a part. And I'm going to select parts of this to make it a little bit different inside. So I'll do basically a fillet here. Hit OK. And the same thing here. We'll do this on the plus. Just like that. Okay, hit OK. This real small little detail here. Basically, what we're doing. Just a little bit of detail here that what I'm doing here, and just to make it look a little different. All right, so now I've got the disc tool. I'm going to go right to the front view here, or side view, and we're going to pull this out. And we're going to go with not too big of a hole there. Bring this up. Hit OK. Again, we're going to bring this out with the G key. Hit OK. And we did a Shift D again. Hit OK. And scale this down. Hit OK. All right, so now we're going to select both of these faces. And again, we're going to loft these with the L key. So hit loft, hit OK. We can select these two lines there and just delete them. Now let's go and select this and pull this out a little bit on the. Actually, we're going to make that into a little bit of a chamfer. And now we can select this and hit the G key, and we'll bring it into the space. So we want to be able to see the edge of that so it actually will penetrate properly. And there we go. Now I'm going to hit the radio array, and we're going to select the center here. And we got 3 of these basically. I'm going to hit OK on this. A little different design here. So now I'm going to select this, and we're going to select these other 3 sections that we just created. Hit the Q key, and we'll hit OK. So put a little cut into the main front surface of this. I'm going to pull this out with the polygon tool, and I'm going to make sure this is straight. And I'm going to roll the mouse basically backwards to make this into a triangle. We're adding some triangle shapes to this object. So right down the center. And again, we're going to hit the points here. Take all 3 of them and then pull this out as a fillet. And again, it's nice and rounded. So let's go select this line and pull it out a little bit. And we're going to do a Shift D again. And scale it down. Hit OK. All right, so we got both of these. We're going to hit the L key again to loft these. And we're going to delete those 2 curves. And again, we're going to select the bottom here and pull this out as a fillet. So it's rounded. And there we go, hit OK. Now let's go ahead and hit the G key after we select it. G. And let's move this into space. We want to be able to see the very edge of this again. There we go. All right, so then I'm going to select that section there in the cylinder and then select that piece and then hit the Q key to cut that out. Cool, that looks great. I'm going to start hiding some of the stuff, see what it looks like. All right, that's coming along very well. I like that little bit of detail. Okay, I'm going to select the bottom section here. And now I'm going to go in and mirror this thing. So hit the other side. And now that we've got these good actually separated, normally it's better just to kind of combine them back together again in the first place. So it wastes one more step. All right, so now I'm going to actually hit the Q again twice to actually combine these together. So hit the QQ, and this way it becomes one object. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of modify this a little bit. So select both of these sections and hit an actual fillet there. Actually, I'm going to do a chamfer on this piece. Okay, so I'm going to select this main section here on those little pieces as well. So everything's selected there. And I'm going to actually use the Shift D, and I'm going to actually hit the G key and move this piece up. This is your second part of the arm that I'm actually going to use. Real simple this way to kind of copy something that you've already done and repurpose it. Okay, I decided to kind of bring this back down and rotate it differently. I thought it would be better just to rotate it within this center spot over there. So butter down, and now I'm actually going to use the F key and kind of select the center of that space there. And then I'm going to rotate it around that area there. And this way it actually lines up with that cylinder that's on top there. So it could be repurposed properly. All right, like that. So now I'm actually going to scale it in a little bit. So I selected everything there. Kind of make it a little bit smaller than the bottom piece. And again, I have to repurpose this. So I'm going to use the move tool and hit the center of that point there and move it over to the center of this point. That way it kind of falls right into that space. Okay, now I got that done. I'm going to actually use the actual square tool here and bring out a square or rectangle right to the bottom of this space right here, about right there. And I'm going to use this for a cutter basically. So that way we can actually add the piece in better. So now that I got this, I'm going to use the face tool, select it and pull this out. Okay, pull it out to the edge here, a little bit past. And I want this to kind of just be right within that space so it actually has the right cut. Okay, right to the edge. A little bit less than the edge. Hit OK. Then we can actually select this piece here and delete it. And again, select this piece here and pull it out. So it's, again, right past that piece. You just want a little bit of that section. All right, that looks good. And now we're going to adjust some things on the bottom here. Okay, hit OK. And we're going to actually use the G key now and move this upward. So move it up. I'm going to go right past the arm right there. Okay, so let's select this one edge here. And then we're going to rotate this outward like it's rounded. Something like that. And hit OK. I'm going to select this, and again, we're going to do a boolean. So we're going to cut that piece out. And now it's nice and rounded on that edge. All right, so now I'm going to select this triangle section here and bring the line out. So I'm going to try to make this as straight as I can. It might be a little bit off, but just try to line it up. So it's kind of like exactly as it should be. Again, another way you could have done this is going from the edge of the bottom of that circular piece where it kind of has a more of a sharp edge, and then kind of go to the other side and line it up properly. But anyway, here we go. So pull this line out, right click, and then I'm going to use the G key and select the center and just move this over to the center of this space and kind of line this up where it needs to go. And now I'm trying to look at the differences between the two areas. And I'm going to select the point. First select the line, then select the point. And this way I can move this over a little bit so it's more exact spacing as the other side. So just pull this over so it's basically even. Hit OK. And now I'm going to select the line itself. And this will be a cutter basically. So bring this, hit the G key. And we're going to basically line this right over to the edge over below this base. So about right about there. Again, this is just a nice way to cut this properly. So go and select the object now, select it, and hit the C key or the cutter, and select this line. Okay, now we got this piece here, and we can just delete it. So that's a flat piece. So now I'm going to actually select the whole piece and actually make sure I select all these little pieces as well. Hit the R key, and actually going to select the center of the spot with the F key, and then select it, and then go to the end here, right to the center, and now move this whole thing upward a little bit so we get past that bottom piece, and we're going to make this mostly straight is what the goal is here. So now I'm going to select the actual the cylinder tool, and we're going to select the center of that piece there and just kind of pull this thing out. Not that far, of course, but we'll bring it back in. So about right about there, and we can hit the OK button. Great. Yeah, I think that looks really good. Let's go ahead and continue to work this piece. All right, so a few more things we're going to clean up is these bottom pieces. It needs to be more rounded. So we can select these intersections here and just pull this out. So we selected both of those, both sides here. Make sure we got both of them. And then we can start pulling this out on the plus. So it makes it more rounded. About there, looks good. So we're going to select these lines, all four of them. One's on the bottom as well. So select all 4 of these. And let's go and pull this out. We're going to do this on the plus, so it's nice and smooth. All right, hit the OK button. And now we can select this piece in the inside here. So select the line again, select this piece here, and let's pull this out. Again, we'll do this on the plus. So it looks like it's actually welded to the part. So I thought I'd re-record this with the newer version just because I just didn't like the way this was handled in the way of modeling. So this is the easiest way to do this. I'm going to be selecting the actual line here with the Alt key. Select the whole thing. And with that done, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I select this side as well. Shift, Alt. Now the whole thing's selected. And then I'm going to do a Shift D. Great. Now that we've gotten that, we can try to use the actual patch tool to see if we can get that patched. Now it doesn't work right. Now I really only wanted a portion of this, so I want it to go about here. And so to do this, I'm just going to basically cut this thing in half. Okay, the best way to handle this is use your line tool, and we're going to select kind of like in the center here, up to around here. So that's way it's completely even. And I'm just now going to use the actual trim key here to get rid of that line and this line. And that will take care of the rest. This can go, this can go, this can go. And we can just delete this stuff in a minute here, but I just decided to go ahead and go for it real quick. And just deleting all those. Okay, so now that we've gotten that line differently, we can go back now, make sure and do this one. And now we can start selecting these other lines. Sometimes it holds it. And now that we got this all together, we can just join this, right? So that's one piece. And now let's go ahead and try to patch this thing. Now that it's not so far around. There we go. That's a nice little patch right there. And then we can say, okay. And then we can also go back in now and just add some thickness to this. So let's go ahead and add thickness. And we're going to go to opposite way, right? So there we go there. And that's pretty much easiest way to do that, to form that piece. And we could actually go in here now. This way it actually just looks like it kind of belongs, or it's a little bit like a hatch of some sort. We're going to move this down a little bit and in a little bit, just so it looks like it has a different form than the rest of it. Okay, now I've done all that, I would definitely want to go back and kind of redo all this. So hit the Alt key and make sure we do both sides. So Shift, Alt, and we're going to go back in here and now pull this out. We're going to make this a nice little bit of a plus as a fillet, like that. And there we go. That looks really nice. Hit OK. And now we can do the same thing here on this piece. We can do this. And the same thing on this side, Shift. And we can pull this out just a little bit. We can even do a chamfer on this one. Hit OK. There we go. Now that looks a lot better. So that's how I get that part done. Okay, so the next step is I need to put in some other sections onto the top area, kind of like similar to the bottom here. We're going to take this piece and actually make a copy of this. So we're going to select this whole thing on both sides. And we're actually going to do a Shift D on this so we make a copy of it. And then we're going to actually move it over to the side. So let's go ahead and move it to the side after Shift D. And go ahead and move it. And this whole thing is connected. So we're going to be kind of just lining it up here on that side. And now we're going to get rid of some of this additional parts. All right, so here we go. All right, so we're going to use the line tool here to cut it. So just bring a line from the bottom out. And then we're going to actually use the G key and move this back in. So let's bring this all the way across. And that's good. Hit OK. Now we can select the object here and use the C key, or we can actually select the icon there and delete it. So hit OK. Now let's go and delete that piece there. Perfect. Now we just got that little piece in the center here that we need to get rid of. So a good way to do that is to select the line, and we can move it over. So hit the G key, move it inward, G twice, and we'll go about right about there. Yeah, I think that looks good. Hit OK. And now we can select the whole thing. Hit the cutter with the C key, and then select this line. And again, let's go ahead and delete that piece there. We can make a copy of this, and now we can mirror it over. And we'll go right to the other side. Hit OK. And now we got it all set up. Perfect. So let's go ahead and delete the other side there. And we're just going to select this now and mirror it to the other side so it's exactly perfectly aligns. Now I've actually done that. Now they're both on the same side. Now we can hit Q key twice and now merge them together as one. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of this line, delete it, and select this object with the object selection tool. Select it and go to the side, G key, and we'll move it over. Now to get this exactly right, we're going to actually use the F key and select the center of this. So we're going to hit the G key, hit the F, and now we got the center. And now pick the center of this and then let go. Perfect. Now it's right in the center of this space. Now one thing you'll notice that it's a little bit too big. So we're going to hit the S key and scale this down into place. And I'm going to get it about right about there. All right, so what I did here, I hit the G key, kind of get it to the right location. And this way I can see what I'm doing. Hit OK. And we're going to delete that as well. Basically, I'm just going to clean this up. So we're going to opposite side so it exactly fits in the space now. Another way we could have done it was just do a better job in scaling, but that's okay. Okay, now I got these merged together with Q key twice. They're one piece. And it's fitting within that space. We merged the other piece, or actually mirrored the other piece as well. So now we got both of them set up the way they should be. Now I'm going to select all these and we're going to move them. So we're going to go right to this side view here. I'm going to make sure this is centered properly. So we'll select that too. And we're going to rotate this around, this center piece, just to kind of give it a little different angle. I'm going to make it so it's straight along that line there. So if this is turned that one angle to the left, when it rotates, it'll go straight up when it goes all the way up. I think that's going to look nice. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of cleanup work here. So basically, we're going to actually select the intersections in here. So we got a few pieces to select, and I want to delete these so I actually get back to the very hard edge. This way we can maneuver this a little bit better. I think it needs to go up a little bit more so it looks more correct. So basically, I just hit all this stuff. It's kind of in the way, and we'll do this again. So I'm going to hide all these. And now what I want to do is I want to get this cleaned up a little bit. So to do that, we're going to select all these sections here. Select all those, this, and the other side as well. And we're going to select basically the other side as well. So select these and this piece and the ones in the back. We couldn't see the back piece because those other pieces were in the way. So that's why we hit everything. Now let's hit delete. And now we got a nice hard edge there. Now we could actually go back and manipulate this. So I'm going to make sure I select the face tool here. And now I can move this up a little bit higher. I just think it'll look nicer a little bit up there compared to where it was. And I think about right there is good. Now we can select these lines again, set OK. Select these two sections in the corners. And let's go and pull this out on the plus. So it's nice and smoothly rounded. Not too much, about there. So it looks like it, is correctly cornered. Hit OK. Okay, now we can unhide this and see what it looks like. I just think that looks a little bit better, and you have a more of a ability to rotate this down farther that's what the reason for that. So now if I select everything here, deselect the bottom piece, and we could test the theory out. We can deselect that piece in the center there. Use the rotate and then select the V key, or the V key in the center there, and rotate it down. See, now we can get quite a bit farther down without it stopping. That's the goal of that. And then we could just say undo, Control Z, and it's back to where it was. All right, now we can get rid of that piece and delete it. So that's it for part 2. And join me for part 3, which will be covering the front of the actual main head. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So join me. Thank you.